Yes. Okay, someone came. Okay, let's begin. Hmm. Any questions? Do you also use Rashi Dashas or Gemini astrology to answer questions? I had a doubt. Rashi Dashas are more useful, or Rashi Dasha. Okay, fine. Rashi Dashas are they are useful if we are completely going towards that side of astrology. Understand? As I said, every system works. Every system gives you can give you identical interpretations and identical predictions. It only depends on how experienced you are in that particular system. So if you are good enough experience, if you have good enough experience in Gemini astrology, then utilize Rashi Dashas. Somehow I don't have that experience. Somehow I never worked regularly with Rashi Dashas. Now I know the basics, how to utilize them, but I don't know how to like predict regularly through them. Okay, so that's where I am kind of lacking. So I don't use them, but they can be utilized. All I want to say here is that they can be utilized as effectively as Vimshotri Dasha and the Parashara astrology. Okay. Is it true Ashwini natives have more sons than daughters? And how will my first child be if my fifth lord is in Capricorn? Fifth lord is in Capricorn and Ashwini. Ashwini, we can say, because Ashwini Kumars, the uh, the deity of that Ashwini Nakshatra or Ashwini Kumars, they are twin male horses. So then that is where we can say that Ashwini Nakshatra can give male child. Can give. I am not sure. Can be a possibility. Another thing about this, the first child uh, with fifth lord in Capricorn sign. Understand, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, so there will be a Saturnian role in your relationship with your first child. Okay, Saturnian means Saturn represents limitations, restrictions, and all. So it shows that there will be kind of feeling of restrictions, a feeling of limitation in your interaction with your first child. You may feel that you are unable to communicate with your first child as effectively as you have wished to be. Okay, as you would have wished to. Okay, that thing, that communication level, or the interaction, or he or she can be living away from you, maybe for his job or education, maybe for her job and education. That is the thing. Uranus being there in this with fifth lord in Capricorn can add some unusual circumstances, unconventional circumstances, or any kind of some uh, the very unique circumstances with your child. Okay, that uniqueness can be anything. It is not something which I can predict. Okay, so optional question then. My Aquarius Dasha is about to start. Uh, Saturn, my Amat Karaka is 8th from Aquarius in my chart. Okay. So this should bring career troubles for me. At the same time, I have Venus Dasha and Venus Sun Dasha about to start, which should bring benefic effects to me. Should I combine these two systems or just choose one to understand my next 1 year? I would suggest to start with one. We should choose one system completely. Okay, whatever system you want to follow. Okay, either Parashara system or Gemini system. Choose one system completely and go in that direction. When you have enough experience that you can deal with two systems or three systems simultaneously, then we should go in dealing with them. So unless and until we get that experience, we should just opt for one system at a time. Okay, so if you are looking for this Gemini system, just think that you are in Aquarius sign dasha and your Saturn is in 8th house from Aquarius. It shows that some major changes are about to happen in this dasha. Okay, because Aquarius Lord Saturn is 8th from Aquarius. Some major changes are coming in overall life. Now it can be in career related matters, it can be in your personal life also. So because Saturn is going 8th from the Aquarius, plus it is also it itself represents changes. Some changes are coming. If we look at your Venus Dasha as per Parashara astrology, you are under Venus Dasha. Venus Sun Dasha is coming, about to start. Now a lot depend upon your Venus Sun placement, how they are placed, and that will decide whether it will be a good dasha or bad dasha. Okay, uh, for me it is everything is good. Even the worst dasha gives us some good results. So but overall, if we want to see how challenging or not so challenging a dasha will be, we have to see the overall chart and their position, Venus and Sun position, then we can decide. Thank you, you're welcome. Does Rahu in 9th house shows a foreign travel? Yes, it can show. Rahu itself represents foreign things, and 9th house is the house of long distance travels, so it can represent foreign travels. Okay, foreign travels and meeting with people of different ethnicity, foreign ethnicity, that kind of stuff can be there with Rahu in the 9th house. Okay. Rahu in the 12th house. Rahu in the 12th house. It can bring foreign settlement kind of thing. Okay. Or like person can travel a lot in foreign lands, that kind of thing. Plus the 12th house is the house of your losses, expenses. So Rahu in the 12th house can make someone a spendthrift kind of person. They can like spend a lot. So and that means they need to work on their savings. They need to learn the art of saving their money. That is important for them. Rahu in the 12th house. One astrologer said that Antardasha of a planet second from Venus, right? Second from Venus, during Venus the Mahadasha can cause death. Sun in my case. Okay. Should I ignore this simple prediction? I would prefer to, because death comes to everyone. What to do? Okay. Understand, I don't think that an astrologer is equipped to predict someone's death. Okay. Even I am going through the Maraka Dasha right now, Jupiter Venus Dasha. From last 3 years I didn't die. Okay. So I don't think we should not it is for astrologers. Astrologers should not make sweeping remarks that okay, this person should die, will die, and this person will live. That is not our job. Who is living and who is dying, to decide that. Okay, that is the thing. Understand, if I am saying that this person is dying, or if this person is having if this person will have some major issues, then what is the difference between me and God? Okay, there has to be some difference. I cannot give prophecies. Okay, so this is the main thing. We are not here to decide about someone's life and death. Okay, that's what is first thing. We can never be so sure. Then death can be of any nature. Okay, understand, death is like best example I can give you is, like I said, that I am in Jupiter Venus Dasha, and during this Dasha only I took this Osho discipleship. So when I took the Osho discipleship, the earlier identity was gone, Vishal Saxena astrologer was gone, and the new identity took place, Swami Premanand Bharati. Okay, so for people who knew me from before, let's say someone who knew me from my childhood or from my school college days, for them it is like a death of earlier person and the birth of a new person. Okay, so death can also be seen from this, the transformation kind of thing. Otherwise an astrologer should keep himself away from any such prediction that this person is going to die or that person is going to live. Even when I have seen and while saying this, I can tell you that I have given death timing consultations also. Even there I only said that this time is critical for the person. Okay, if someone is on deathbed and they are in deathbed for long enough, and like family members are tired of looking after them, then people have asked for someone's death time, and I have given that. Okay, I remember there was one case last year in this COVID situation. A person was living in a different country and he wanted to know, because his mother was seriously ill, if there is any chance of her mother to pass away, so that he can travel and reach her in time. Okay, I gave that prediction, but even in that prediction I only said that okay, in this time period the health can be critical. I cannot say that the person will die. I can only say that the health can be critical. Deciding about life and death is not in an astrologer's hand. Okay. What if 12th lord goes in 11th house? 12th lord 11th house means any energy exchange between 12th house and 11th house is like a person's expenses and income are same. They are unable to save their money. Sorry. So it means that whatever this person is earning is also spending away. Okay. So this person is unable to save the money. They need to work on their savings. Okay. They need to find out the ways where they can save their money. So this is the thing. Then if we see further, hello. General question, and if it gives no overseas, I read somewhere. Yeah, Rahu in 11th house can give 12th lord in goes in 11th house can give foreign travels also. But if that thing doesn't happen, then person can have this type of thing, that person is kind of a spendthrift, or he is unable to save the money anyway, where like if he keeps the money in hand, that money gets spent away. So they should be taking care of their money matters, investments. They should find new ways to invest money. Then how to predict the next job change period for Virgo ascendant? September to November. Okay, so for job change, three or four houses are important. These are 10th house is always important, the house of career or job oriented career. 5th house is 8th from the 10th, so it represents change in job or change in workplace. 9th house is the house of resignations, 12th from the 10th, so it represents loss of job, resignations. And 8th house is the house of major changes overall in overall life. So whenever person is going through the dashas of these houses, these planets, these house lords, and also transits also are impacting these houses, especially the 5th house. 5th house is most important. 5th house is 8th from the 10th. It represents change of your work environment. Okay. So whenever 5th house is active as per the dasha and transit both, then person can change their job. Between September to November, as I said, Jupiter will again go back into Capricorn. And I think that Sun, Mercury, Venus will transit through Cancer and Leo. During that time, Mars will also be there. So there will be lots of energy into like Cancer Capricorn axis. So that's where like people, Virgo ascendant people can get some new job opportunity. Is it true that Rahu is mother-in-law and Ketu is father-in-law? So if so, what if Rahu is in 2nd house and Ketu in the 8th house? I don't consider them as mother-in-law and father-in-law. They can be. I am not aware. I am not saying that they cannot be. Okay. So don't make any judgment here that I am saying that they are not mother-in-law. I am not aware. I am just simply saying I am not aware of this factor. If I am looking for mother-in-law in someone's chart, then the 10th house is 4th from the 7th. So 10th house represents mother of your partner, mother of your spouse, and likewise 4th house is 10th from the 7th. So it represents father of your partner, father of your spouse. Okay, so 4th house is your father-in-law, 10th house is your mother-in-law. How Rahu behaves in 11th house in Virgo when aspected by Jupiter? It can make person a very analytical one. They can be very analytical, they can be very perfectionist kind of person. Then Jupiter aspect further enhances that quality. Understand, Rahu is anyways it is a very expansive planet, explosive planet. Jupiter is also expansive planet. It is further aspecting. Okay, so it is further expanding that quality of being a perfectionist. Okay, so maybe in matters with their this elder sibling or their social networking circle and all, with these people they may be very perfectionist kind of. Okay, it can make them very perfectionist about their income also. Okay, I am earning this much, how much others are earning, I am doing this for my friend, what he is doing for me. Okay, this type of analysis is also always there. It can make someone analysis paralysis. Okay, Venus Atmakarika in 7th house for Sagittarius for female is good or bad? Everything is good and everything is bad. Okay, uh, so I just wanted one clarification. For Sagittarius means it is a Gemini ascendant chart and Venus is in Sagittarius, or it is Sagittarius ascendant chart and the Venus is in Gemini. If it is Sagittarius ascendant chart, then it shows that sixth lord coming into the 7th house. So the conflicts and litigation are coming into the relationship matters. At the same time, Venus will be in Gemini sign. Yeah, so we have, it is like sixth lord coming into the 7th house. So it is like this conflicts are coming into relationship matters, but at the same time person can be very creative. They can be in any creative business or financial nature of business, and that's where they should work. Okay, but for other matters like relationship and all, it shows some difficulty. Atmakarka, so I guess that you are asking about career matters. So it shows that sixth lord coming into the 7th house is also like work their daily work life should be in the what happened. Right. So I was saying that okay, anyways, let it be. So sixth lord in the 7th house, Venus is Atmakarka. So daily work life should be in the business setup, and that business can be in creative matters or financial nature of work. Okay, thank you. What is the difference between weak planet and afflicted planet? Afflicted is like when planet is getting aspects or conjunction of malefic planets. That is afflicted. Weak is when planet is having this planet is having some issue with just a second. Okay. Weak is when planet is either debilitated or it is an enemy sign, that kind of stuff. So weak is dignity, affliction is through other malefic planets. Thank you, you're welcome. Vishal, Rahu in Scorpio, 10th house is Scorpio, Mars in 9th house. How would current transit affect Aquarius rising? Rahu in Scorpio, okay, but Rahu is in Taurus, right? Okay, anyways, Ketu is impacting like the 10th house in transit. Ketu is transiting his Scorpio, so these people, Aquarius people, can see a major change happening in their career work environment. Either they can be changing overall career, they can be changing their jobs, work environment, there can be internal shufflings in their career environment. But when Rahu is there in Scorpio in birth chart, it shows that person will have difficulties dealing with his authority figures, and those difficulties will become more potential during this time period when Ketu is transiting through Scorpio. It is a difficult transit for someone's career, and they should also be taking care of their parents' health when Rahu Ketu are transiting in this axis. Sorry. What if Saturn is in Purvabhadra nakshatra? What kind of effect it gives? Purvabhadra is the nakshatra of austerity plus your spiritual pursuits. Purvabhadra is your initial spiritual experiences, and when Saturn is there, it shows that person will have lot of efforts to put in having some initial spiritual experiences. Also, Moon in 7th house, Leo, Aquarius rising, personal. Moon in 7th house shows a person who wants to be in relationship. It is a relationship oriented mind. At the same time, it is in Leo sign, so it is like a very kingly mind. They treat themselves as a king or queen all the time. So that's where the difficulty comes in their relationship life. Although they are looking for relationship, but they are always considering themselves as like kings and queens, and they want people to deal with people to treat them like a king or queen. That's where the difficulty happens in their in their relationship life. With mother, as I said, the moon rules the 6th house here and sits into the 7th house, so it can show some conflicts with mother, some emotional issues with the mother. Okay, and for that we need to see the position of Venus also. But transit wise, as Rahu is transiting through their 4th house, they need to be taking care of their mother's health. How do you use how to use astrology in our daily life? I have been studying Jyotish for a few years, and would like to begin the shift from always looking ahead to using Jyotish for daily spiritual development. Even if you are looking for daily matters, you are again looking ahead. Okay, even if you are thinking that what is going to happen in evening, then also you are thinking ahead in a way. Okay, so that is the nature of human mind. Human mind is always either looking ahead or looking backwards, behind. Okay, anyways, how to use astrology in our daily life? Okay, good question. Astrology or any occult practice, any occult science, its basic job is to make you aware of your situation, is to make you proactive. Okay, so if you are aware that okay, you are going through this dasha and this transit is going on, and this transit is indicative, this X transit is indicative that there can be some sudden events, accidents kind of thing, then you can take proactive measures that okay, fine, either I should not drive at all, I should take cab or auto, whatever other means, and that's how I can keep myself safe, or I will drive at a very slow speed. Okay, this is how we can utilize astrology in our daily life. Okay, that get into your astrological prediction. Best for daily thing, person should predict for himself only. Okay, don't go to any astrologer, because any astrologer cannot be sure of your daily work life. Okay, what you are doing on daily basis. So make prediction for yourself, and then be proactive in those predictions. Okay, suppose if I see best example I can give, Suppose in transit moon is going into Scorpio sign. Okay, suppose today moon is in Scorpio sign. Scorpio is the sign of past memories. It is your resentments. It can bring fearfulness to the mind and all. Now you are aware that okay, today moon will be in Scorpio and I can have these issues coming to me. Then whenever these thoughts are coming, then be aware, be conscious that it is moon's transit which is giving you difficulties rather than anything else. This is where you can utilize the astrology. Best thing is to see the moon's transit on a particular day, what that thing is indicative in good and bad both, and how you can utilize that situation for the best use for yourself. This is how you can use astrology in daily life. How much importance should we give to Bhavachali chart? For me, D1 is enough. I don't even look at any other chart. That doesn't mean that I don't give any importance. I'm just saying that D1 is enough for me. I don't even need to look at, because I exhaustively check all D1 chart in totality. Okay, that's why I don't feel the need of going into other charts. Okay, so as I don't go into other charts, I cannot say the importance of Bhavachali chart. Rakesh, Aries ascendant, retro Jupiter in 5th Leo and Saturn in Capricorn 10th. Currently I am running Jupiter Dasha, all spiritual friends I am connecting to. That is good. Retro Jupiter in Leo, Saturn in Capricorn. And this is a good Dasha. Jupiter is 9th and 12th Lord, and Jupiter is in the 5th house. It can also make you very creative, and that is good. Okay, you can utilize this time in your creative pursuits, your spiritual pursuits, your educational matters. You will get very good results. Venus in 12th house, can it be good? Again, it depends on the sign to decide good or bad. The dignity is important. Venus in 12th in Virgo can still give someone good wealth, but this person can have lots of relationship issues. Venus in 12th can in Pisces can give good wealth again, but this person can be highly imaginative in relationship. Okay, so this is where the difficulties are. As I always say, every planetary position has something good, something bad. In Pisces sign, it can make someone very spiritual also. In Scorpio sign, someone can have love towards occult and research oriented matters. If something is meant to happen, if you are careful about one bad thing, could it show up in another way? Okay, that is what I am trying to tell people, that we cannot be sure in advance what is meant to happen. Okay, suppose because let's take this example. 10 years ago, no one told me that I will be an astrologer. Okay, 10 years ago, no one told me. I must have shown my chart to hundreds of astrologers. No one told me that I will become an astrologer. Okay, and even now, no one can tell me where I will be 10 years after. Okay, so understand this destiny kind of thing is just in the hindsight. Today I have become an astrologer. Now people can tell that okay, it was in your destiny to become an astrologer. You were meant to become an astrologer. Today they can say in hindsight. But at that time no one said that 10 years ago. And even today no one can tell me what is going to happen in 10 years from now, where I will be. Will I still be an astrologer? I will be something else? Nobody knows. Okay, I have changed 4 careers so far. I can change a few careers more, so I have no problem in changing my careers. So that is what I am saying, that we can never be so sure that this is the thing which is meant to happen. Okay, understand it like this. If I am giving you prediction that this is a possibility, this is a probable event which can take place, now it depends upon you what type of energy you are giving to that event, that possibility. If you are putting event, then that event can take place. Suppose let's take this example. Suppose I tell someone that okay fine, in this time period, you can meet with an accident. You can. Still I am not saying you will. I am just saying you can meet with an accident. Now it depends on the person. If he takes my advice seriously, if he drives slowly, if he drives carefully, then he may avoid the accident. He may get into the situation, but he may avoid. Now we will say that okay, you were meant to avoid the accident. It was not in your destiny to meet with an accident. Okay, but if he meets with an accident, if he is careless, negligent, and if he meets with an accident, then I can say okay, I told you, right? You were meant with to meet with an accident. So this meant to be thing is always in the hindsight, last option. In the last thing, in the beginning we cannot be so sure what is meant to be. Okay, someone normally this question comes into relationship matters, where the couple comes, okay, full of their desires to get married to each other, and we are meant to be together. Okay, so and I normally respond to them, okay, it can also be the case that you are meant to break up after my advice. That is also meant to be, right? So this is also meant to be, that you came to me and I advised you that this is not a good relationship for you to carry forward. Then if you break up, even that event is meant to be. So that's what I mean to say, that we can never be so sure what is meant to be, what is destiny. Okay, destiny is only in the hindsight. Can you please tell me anything about career? If you look at 10th house Gemini, Lord Mercury in 12th house. 10th house Gemini, Lord Mercury in 12th house. It is Virgo ascendant chart, Mercury in 12th house, Leo. Either this person can have career connected with foreign lands, spirituality, creativity. Their creative interest is spiritual interest, or anything to do with foreign lands, foreign people, communication with foreign people, guiding, counseling foreign people, and all that. For career determination, as I always said, it takes a long time. And does soul has a gender? Why all matured people show feminine nature and not masculine nature? Because femininity is receptive. Okay, first of all, soul has no gender. Soul can take any body in one birth. Okay, I could have been a female in one of my previous births. I can be female in my later births after this life. Okay, why all matured people show feminine nature and not masculine? Because masculine nature is aggressive. Okay, you remember the words you are using, matured people. Masculine energy is about aggressive, is about showing off your ego, and maturity in real sense comes to a person when his ego loses. the battle. Okay, the person's ego is no more, then only he attains to the maturity, and that is where the feminine nature comes into place. Understand, if I just give you an example that will help you more. If you look at all the gods incarnations, especially in India, Ram, Krishna, Buddha, Mahavira, if you look at their pictures, and if you look at their especially with Ram, Krishna and Buddha, they all had feminine features, they all had long hairs. We have presented God as a feminine person in a feminine way, regardless of the fact that the person was male, masculine, because the divine energy can only be feminine. Only the female has the power to give birth. God gives us birth, so God has to be female. The universe has to be female, the nature has to be female, the feminine nature. Once someone asked Osho that you always refer God as he. Are you sure that God is male? So Osho said, no, I am sure that God is female, but it will be too much for a male's ego to go down before a female. That's why we have to satisfy the male ego by calling the God as he. Otherwise, God is she only. The way you take questions online and answer them on the spot, no one I see online has the confidence to do that. Thank you. I try my best. What about career, please? If 10th house is in Gemini and Lord Mercury is in 12th house, do Atmakarka, Matkarka matter in this? If yes, AK is Saturn. Lot of things matter in career matters, like this. At least 7 to 8 steps are there. Ascendant as an ascendant Lord position. This ascendant nakshatra and ascendant nakshatra Lord position, then second house Lord position, 11th house Lord position, 10th house Lord position, Rahu position, Bhrigu Bindu, Atmakarka, Matkarka, then Dasha, then transit. Okay, so this is the thing. That's why, like, we can have this just a outside idea of your career by Mercury in 12th house in Leo. Mercury in 12th house in Leo, we can have an outside idea that you can be in any business and communication kind of thing with foreign people, foreign company, foreign lands, or in spiritual or creative matters. Okay. How did you get interested in astrology? Was someone in your family an astrologer? Thankfully not. Thankfully not. Okay. It is my greatest fortune that no one in my family was ever an astrologer. No one ever saw their own chart. Okay. For 3 of my relatives, 3 or 4 of my close relatives, I did birth time rectification. And I gave them their chart, that this is your chart. Okay. Thankfully, there was no one to teach me in my family, because that opened the door. Because now I have to get information from all the sources possible. Okay. Understand what I am trying to say. If you have a mentor figure in family, it can be useful. That person can be useful, but you get limited to that person only. Okay. You cannot go beyond that person. You can suppose my father is an astrologer, I am bound to learn from him. Then I cannot go beyond him. I will feel that my father has all the knowledge of astrology, so I will not check with other things. Thankfully, there was no one to guide me, so I checked everyone. So that's where I learn from everyone, and I'm still learning. Guruji, namaskar. Namaskar, sir. Can you tell me about Mercury, Venus, Saturn conjunction? These are three good friends together, but Saturn is actually not friend with anyone. Saturn represents delays, hard work, and perseverance. Mercury, Venus can make someone very creative, or can be very good for financial nature of business. Now, Mercury, Venus with Saturn, so this shows that person's creativity and financial abilities will develop with delay, hard work, and perseverance. After a certain time, they will realize. Uh, they will realize okay, fine, I have this creative ability, I can pursue that, but before that it is not there. They have to work really hard on their creative pursuits. They have to work on really hard on their relationship also. Is there anything like Stri Shrap? Does curses go on to lifetimes? If yes, any remedies? I am not aware of any Shrap. Okay, I feel that this life is blessing. If God has given you birth, that is a blessing, uh, and it is not a curse, so there is no need for any remedy. Does Ketu make sun weak? Yeah, Ketu and Rahu eclipses sun, so Ketu sun conjunction can make sun weak, but sun is overall light. You cannot keep sun under illusion, under eclipse for a long time. After certain age, sun will sun will come out brightly shining. Thank you, thank you. Sorry for commenting many times. I tried to delete it. No issues. I tried to respond to all your questions. Gemini rising, second house, Mars, Venus in Pisces, relationship life. Gemini rising, Mars in the second house. This is troublesome because Mars is debilitated. It is sixth lord debilitated in the second house, so that means the disputes are coming to family and destroying the family environment and wealth. This will be a difficult relationship, they can be very dominating or controlling, or they can attract a partner who is very dominating and controlling. So this is where they need to be careful. It is cause of this that all of our original rupa is feminine. All of us are feminine. Being matured, we realize our soul's true nature, and femininity flows out. That may be also true. Sun considered as Surya Narayan is only male. Paramatma is only male. We are all Jivatma are feminine. This is my analogy. Thank you. No issues. Okay, I think it is. Okay. Any further question? I feel that to the extent your client or your chart gives you benefits depend upon your family ancestors life. Very seldom does a person rise way beyond their family. Prince and princesses have ordinary charts sometimes. Yeah, we can say so, that because they are anyways desh kal paristhiti, we can say desh kal paristhiti is something which is always playing its role. The kind of environment you are born in, you are going to be impacted either positively or negatively. So if someone is taking birth in royal family, his chart will automatically look good for us, right? When we look at that person's chart who has taken birth in royal family, we will have a preconceived idea in mind that okay, this kid must be having a wonderful chart, Okay, we see things from that preconceived idea. So that is where the human mind is cunning, and it plays its games with us. Okay, I think any further question? It was a good session. Different type of questions. You are open to everything. I am happy about it. I love to congratulate you. May you have all peace, sir. Same to you. Thank you. Thank you. I think we are done. Enjoy your rest of the Sunday wherever you are in this world. And let's meet next week. I have a consultation in half an hour, so I need to go. Okay. Take care. All the best. Enjoy.